Sure.
Go ahead.
The ICJ.
Sure.
There was, I know the statement, I was a statement last night, but I wanted to follow up on that. The statement said that the allegations are unfounded. Could you assess, like, in terms of what the U.S. is doing now, that is the U.S. actually actively watching the proceedings? Could it be persuaded at all? Is it looking at the evidence or the arguments that are being presented?
There's a couple things here, Sean. First, we're going to refrain from any speculation about the outcome. I also think that it is important that we not comment on specific points raised in the day's hearing, as Israel will have an opportunity to respond directly to those allegations tomorrow. Of course, we are watching closely. The ICJ, as you know, is a principal organ of the UN. It plays a vital role in the peaceful settlement of disputes. But again, as you saw us speak to last night, and I will say again from here, the allegations that Israel is committing genocide are unfounded. Those who are violently attacking Israel, who continue to openly call for Israel's annihilation and the mass murder of Jews. Genocide is one of the most heinous acts any entity or individual can commit, and such an allegation should only be made with the greatest of care.
Sure. A couple things on that. I mean, you said you don't want to react to the to the arguments made today. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said that described South Africa as being as being the legal arm of forget the exact phrase, the legal arm of Hamas. Whatever. Do you agree with statements like that? Do you agree about the South African motivations on this?
Certainly, that's not a characterization. That is not a characterization that I would make from up here when it comes to our South African partners. But again, we continue to feel very strongly that the allegations that Israel is committing genocide are unfounded.
Just one more. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You said that the allegations are unfounded. How confident are you about this statement, saying that the allegations are unfounded? And if the U.S. is so confident that it is unfounded, why not just let the courts investigate them?
So much to the chagrin of my parents, I didn't go to law school, so I'm not going to offer a specific legal analysis from up here. But it is important to remember, and I will reiterate again, that genocide is one of the most heinous acts any entity or individual can commit, and such allegations should only be made with the greatest care. I also am going to refrain from speaking to and addressing specific points that are raised, as tomorrow Israel will be addressing some of these points that are raised as well, and I will leave it at that.
I have one on that, in allegations that about intentional killing of civilians. You said previously that there are steps Israel can take to minimize civilian harm, and the secretary this week said the civilian toll in Gaza is far too high. If there are steps that Israel can take to minimize civilian harm and they choose not to take them, does it imply an intentional killing of civilians?
Again, I'm just not going to speak to a legal characterization like that. What I will say is that we have not parsed words about the fact that far too many civilians have been impacted by the current conflict in Gaza, and that in every trip to the region, Secretary Blinken has carried the same message that additional steps need to be taken to further minimize the impact on civilians, and this most recent trip is no different. That's something we raised directly with the Israelis and will continue to do so. As it relates to the specifics of the battlefield and specific steps that are taken or not, I'm certainly not going to speak to that from up here, as we are not party or part of this operation.
Just one.